So that'll be added. And then I'll do this.
Every story starts the same way.
Hi there. Happy Sunday. It is February 23rd, 2020, and I'm Eric, talking at you once again from Kelowna, British Columbia, Canada, where on Friday, the jury at the Harvey Weinstein trial stood up in court and told the judge that they were hung. All 12 of them are now being charged with sexual harassment.
That's what you get.
Hung jury.
So good.
It feels like it has been a ridiculous amount of time since we've done this.
I know. It almost feels like we took like a month off. It's been 3 days.
And I have done nothing but sit around here like a guy who has diabetes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Eric and Gord. What if we're right? Live on Spreaker.com. We are live right now. That means the phone line is open, 604-655-9630. That also means you can live chat with me at Spreaker.com starting right now. Hi. There you go.
Hi.
I have to start the show, as always, by saying hi to my friends at Thor's Kin Podcast, Alex and Tom. How you doing, guys? You guys can hear that on Podbean right when you're done listening to me and Gord. And after that, you can go listen to, listen to Pit Lane Parlay. It's the number one IndyCar and racing podcast on the internet, now with full media credentials. And they are going to start for you guys starting next month. They're publishing 3 episodes a week instead of 1. But they'll still be doing the weekly forums on pitlaneparlay.com. But now these guys got full media credentials. They're just like me and you, Gord, but they got full credentials. They can walk around NASCAR. That's pretty cool. If you're a racing fan, that's really awesome. So that's
I want that.
Parlay
I'm not even a big racing fan.
on Apple Podcasts. And when you guys aren't listening to podcasts, you should be going over to Netflix and watching The Truth About Marriage and fix your lives.
And I can tell you guys from personal experience, listen to that man because he knows what the fuck he's talking about.
He does. And I didn't expect, based on the interviews I'd heard from him in the past, I didn't expect him to be so smart and awesome.
Yeah, that was a tremendous amount of fun. He was a great interviewer. I actually know something. I don't know if you noticed this, Eric, but I'm pretty sure he swore more than we did.
He was right in there with us.
Yeah, I didn't realize that until after the fact. I'm just like, I don't even think I really, I think I only swore like once or twice the whole time. I think he threw up pussy this and fuck that, and this is great.
So, on that note, I guess I'm going to have to make the big announcement right now because I'm too excited.
Are you ready?
Okay.
Live right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be celebrating the end of a very successful second season on Sunday, March the 8th, with a special live podcast presentation of Eric and Gord, What If They're Right? Where Gord and I are opening up the floor to any Christian scholars who think that they can convince me of the answers to 3 important questions. So it is going, I'm not putting a time limit on this podcast. We're going to hit record, and everyone who wants to have a say is going to have a say, and the show will end when they're all done. We've got up to 5 hours recording time. So that'll be right here live on Spreaker.com. Now, Gord doesn't even know this. Here's the guests that have signed on to join us so far. Somewhere around here. I want everyone to remember this is just a clean, fun discussion. We're not looking to make fun of religion. We're not looking to insult anybody. We just want an open dialogue. And all these guys have heard the show now. They're they know what they're getting into. So we have joining us Michael Diamond. He's a writer and a speaker from San Diego. We have Chris Owl, who was a Christian evangelist, turned hardcore atheist, turned Sikh Buddhist.
Oh, wow. That's an about face. Twice.
We have Jeffrey Davis joining us. Jeffrey Davis is a former pastor and evangelist, now a functioning agnostic.
See, agnostics bug the shit out of me.
Yeah, but we'll talk.
That's just lazy.
And I'm very, very excited to have Justin Lasser, because Justin Lasser is a biblical scholar and instructor at Manchester University.
That is fascinating.
So he's going to school us on... he knows a lot about pre-New Testament stuff. So it should be very, very interesting. I'll give you guys a little bit of context here. So I have 3 epistemological questions that I need answered before I can take Christianity seriously. My question number 1, why didn't God just make abortions kill women? I guarantee a good percentage of them would have thought twice before having an abortion if they knew they were going to die when they did it. It would have saved us decades of conflict. It would have saved millions of lives. And come on, why? This just makes me think there's no God. Because why would you make it so humans could die from a fucking peanut allergy, but not from this horrible murder of unborn children? You would think that would be... It would just make more sense. Yeah. If he built in that little failsafe when he made Eve, we wouldn't be having this discussion today. God should have thought of that. True. I shouldn't have to think for God.
Yeah.
And what the fuck is with the peanut allergy? But that's a different show. Question number 2, and you guys have heard this out of me and Gord since the dawn of this show. Why isn't don't fuck kids one of the commandments? I think any good Christian would agree 100% of the times that they're asked that there's room for an 11th one. If you can't bump, like, covet thy neighbor's wife, let's get rid of thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife. Because I tell you, any proud father out there would much rather you covet his wife than fuck his boy's asshole. So I think we could work that in there. And then question number 3 for our biblical scholars is, what the fuck is the deal with Australia? Why, if there's a God, why would he invent Australia? Like, he was just sitting there one day going, all right, guys, here's the plan. I'm going to make a beautiful tropical island paradise. I'm going to surround it with sharks and fucking deadly jellyfish. I'm going to fill it with assholes and marsupials, the most useless creatures on the earth. And every summer, for no reason whatsoever, I'm going to light the whole fucking thing on fire.
Oh, don't forget that everything that's not a marsupial kills you.
Yeah, everything that's not a marsupial kills you. If he doesn't kill you by burning down your fucking country every year. So I cannot conceive of a God who would make Australia.
Yes, science!
So, anyone is allowed to sign up to be a guest, but I would prefer Christian church officials, biblical scholars, someone with a great deal of knowledge. Again, we're not looking to make fun of you. We're not. We want. I think, honestly, it would be better if we could open up this dialogue between non-believers and believers, and we could just have a fun chat. I don't understand why that can't just be a fun conversation. And neither do these 4 gentlemen, so they're all looking forward to it. Anyone can join, and anyone could call in. It'll be all day Sunday, March the 5th. Sunday, March the 8th, and that we're going to call that our season finale because it's going to be huge. Facebook is all over it.
I'm super excited. Fucking excited.
I kind of thought you would be. It's. I didn't think people would sign on this quickly. I just came up with this idea last night, and because I'm going to do a little God rant later in the show. But very cool that people are signing on. Very cool that we've got like almost 11,000 listeners now. It's just fucking phenomenal. I don't have a cool sound effect to back that up with.
Just before we get off the topic, something I didn't know about the 10 Commandments or more to accurately, the 613 commandments that are there totally. Out of the original, the 10 commandments, only the first two were actually, according to this, were actually statements by God himself. And those first two is, I am the Lord thy God, first one, and thou shalt have no other gods before me. Everything else was made up by man.
Well, that makes sense, because all the other ones are stupid.
That's right.
Those two seem like something that God would do, but the other ones, not so much. Okay. Let's get going with the show. Sunday, yes. March 8th. Do not miss that. So, Gord, something I didn't get a chance to tell you a lot about. I spent basically the last week on Twitter. I came up with this stupid idea that there's roughly 800,000 podcasts.
Okay.
I'm going to follow all of them. I'm going to follow every single goddamn one. So
how the shit are you going to follow that many podcasts?
I went on a following spree, and Eric and Gord followed, and people followed back. Something I got to say, I was tremendously surprised and flattered by the amount of podcasts that I went to follow that were already following us. So thank you guys for that. That's so cool. Now I'm the dickhead because you were following me and I wasn't following you. I'm sorry. I didn't know. But I'm making up for it now. And I've made a deal with myself that every day I'm going to try to listen to 2 podcasts. So if I could commit to that 365 days a year, I will have heard at least one episode of everyone's podcast in just shy of 1,100 years.
11 years.
1,100 years.
1,100 years.
That is correct. Who is vacuuming?
My mother.
Hi, Mom. Welcome to the show. Your vacuum is live on Speaker.com.
And just for those that know, that's what a Dyson sounds like.
So I went on Twitter and I started liking and just following and liking and following. There's some cool podcasts out there, you guys. You should all be very proud of yourselves. I learned a lot this weekend. So thanks for playing along with me. And we'll exchange reviews and we'll do all that stuff. I'll plug your show and you can plug my show.
We can plug each other.
Well, there's going to be a whole lot of Twitter plugging. The other thing that happened on Friday night, I went out with Rebecca, the lovely Ninja Turtle girl.
Yes.
I went, I'm not involving her in the rest of this story, but I went to my first NA meeting.
Oh, really? You've never been to one before?
I've never been to one. I've been to an AA meeting. These are exactly the same.
Yes, they are.
Now, I have a lot of issues with their program. Number one, you have to give yourself to God. No, I won't until he answers these 3 questions for me. And by the way, he can't say, oh, God works in mysterious ways, or we'll understand when the time is right. No, none of that shit. I want answers.
Yeah.
The other thing that I took issue with, and I took a lot of issue with this on Friday night, the whole thing relies on a massive amount of self-pity and saying that you could no longer control your life. That was not my experience. I was fucking kick-ass as an addict. If I had more money, I'd be amazing. I toured Canada twice. I got a fucking Juno. I started a fairly successful semi-pro stand-up act. I was a kick-ass fucking addict. I had no self-pity. I fucking loved me when I was high.
During my, I have to refer to it as low points, as I'm supposed to. But same thing, for almost my entire life, leading up to only the last few years, say 3 years, I didn't look back at any of that stuff that I did during the time as bad. I just thought, it was all just a learning experience, whatever. Decisions I made, I didn't amount to a whole lot, but what's the big deal? The only difference was I didn't realize the heartbreak I was causing, say, like my family and that sort of thing in the background.
See, there's another part of it. I totally realized all of that. I just didn't care.
Yeah, see, I did.